Chapter 37:24. Rumble, Rumble, Rumble. Seeing Wang Xian's attack, the metallic glow on the giant galactic beast dispersed to the surroundings. The surrounding meteorites seemed to be attracted by a huge force as they blasted towards Wang Xian and the dark ghost doppelgangers. Intense rumbling sounds rang out. Wang Xian's attacks were blocked one after another. "It's not much stronger than me. I can fight it." Wang Xian stared at the horrifying giant galactic beast. With a move, he transformed into his divine dragon form. Around him, the 4 dark ghost doppelgangers also transformed into dark dragons and stared coldly at the giant galactic beast. The giant galactic beast was infuriated. It lifted its head slightly and its body began to transform. His entire body was like a transformer, turning into a huge beast. A giant galactic beast with 8 arms. Huh! When Wang Xian looked over, he was shocked. Transforming its body into another form. This giant galactic beast was really something. Towering dragon horn. Wang Xian's dragon horn emitted a beam of light and blasted towards the beast. At the same time, the 4 dark ghost doppelgangers attacked. Rumble. Seeing Wang Xian's law of Dharma attack, the giant galactic beast showed no fear. It raised its 2 arms and blasted back. With a dull thud, the giant galactic beast flew back uncontrollably. At this time, the attacks of the 4 dark ghost doppelgangers arrived at the same time. Bam bam bam. His other 6 arms met the attacks of the dark ghost doppelgangers. His body is like indestructible metal. The defense of this giant galactic beast is too tough. Wang Xian frowned slightly when he saw this scene. He stretched out his dragon claws and the 5 elements grindstone floated above his head. The Tai Chi dragon plate floated around him and flew towards him. This giant galactic beast was clearly better at close combat. Seeing Wang Xian's attack, it threw a huge fist towards him. Let's try his fist attack first. Wang Xian did not dodge. His dragon claws met the fist. Tai Chi rotated on his dragon claws. Bam! A terrifying collision sounded again. The fist of the giant galactic beast landed on Wang Xian's dragon claws but did not break the defense of the Tai Chi dragon plate. At the same time, the Tai Chi dragon plate countered with a strong force. All right. When Wang Xian sensed this, he was elated. This galactic beast could not break through the defense of the Tai Chi dragon coil. If it couldn't be broken, it wouldn't be a threat to him at all. Buzz buzz. On the top of Wang Xian's head, 5 dragon heads emerged from the Tai Chi dragon plate and bombarded the giant star beast. Kakaka. An earthy yellow energy floated around his body to block the attack. Mighty heavenly dragon. Wang Xian bellowed. A huge illusory shadow of a divine dragon charged towards him. Dark ghost clone kill. The 4 dark ghost avatars moved, attacking the giant star beast from all directions at the same time. Boom boom boom. One attack after another landed in front of him, and the earthy yellow energy was destroyed. His body was like a piece of metal, with cracks appearing all over it. There was no flesh or blood, as if they were made of metal. Boom. It opened its mouth, and sharp metal spewed out from its mouth. Physical attacks can be ignored. Wang Xian sensed this attack. With a thought, the 4 nether ghost doppelgangers closed in on him in an instant, and attacks continued to land on him. This giant star beast didn't seem to understand why its opponent could ignore its attacks completely. Its huge eyes revealed a hint of unease. He realized that the enemy was a little difficult to deal with. This giant star beast's attacks are more towards physical attacks. The uniqueness of the dark ghost avatars can almost ignore its attacks. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he controlled the dark ghost avatars to close in and attack. Boom boom boom. The infuriated giant star beast bombarded the dark ghost avatars with its 8 arms, emitting a golden glow. This was an attack of the metal attribute. Seeing the giant star beast besieging the dark ghost avatars, Wang Xian controlled the 5 elements grindstone to continue its attack. At the same time, 8 dragon pillars rose in the surroundings. Each dragon pillar had a divine dragon entrenched on it. Boom boom boom. Sounds of bombardment came again. The battle with this giant star beast was a little primitive. It was a direct confrontation. This giant star beast's defense was terrifying, and its destructive power was very strong. In addition, it could control the surrounding meteorites. If not for Wang Xian's strength and the uniqueness of the dark ghost avatars, it would be difficult to deal with it at the same level. Cracks appeared on the giant star beast's body, and it became more and more violent. It locked its eyes on Wang Xian. At this moment, it completely ignored the attacks of the dark ghost avatars and attacked him. At this point in the battle, it knew that Wang Xian was the leader. Moreover, Wang Xian posed a greater threat to it. Wang Xian saw it ignoring the attacks of the dark ghost avatars and charging towards him. A smile appeared on his face. The 4 dark ghost avatars closed in on him rapidly. They were only 10,000 meters away from him. Thick metal shields rose around the giant star beast as it continued to stare at Wang Xian. Its fist radiated brilliance as it punched towards Wang Xian. Dark Dragon Transformation. Just as the 8 arms of the giant star beast were about to hit Wang Xian, his body began to turn illusory. In the next moment, his body transformed into the dark ghost avatars above the giant star beast. Wind and Thunder Dragon. Terrifying wind and thunder power was released from the unbeginning sacred wings instantly. It condensed into a divine dragon wrapped in wind and thunder and charged downwards. At such a close distance, the giant star beast couldn't dodge at all. 5 Elements Annihilation Plate. At the same time, the 5 Elements Grindstone released its strongest attack. An incomparably huge grindstone followed the wind and thunder dragon and charged downwards. Sensing the threat of death, the giant star beast roared in horror. Boom boom boom. One attack after another landed on his body. His body began to crumble, and pieces of his body began to crack. Wang Xian extended his dragon claws and grabbed at one of the cracks. Immediately, he grabbed it in his hand. The destructive force washed away the collapsed area, and it gradually lost its vitality. With a wave of Wang Xian's dragon claws, countless chains wrapped around the giant star beast. Obliterate its vitality. Wang Xian bellowed. The energy released by the 5 Elements Grindstone continued to attack. The vitality of the giant star beast was disappearing rapidly. Soon, a humongous corpse was left behind. Looking at the corpse, Wang Xian's eyes lit up. The corpse of the giant star beast was very strange. It looked exactly like metal. Chapter 3725. The metal plate corpse was similar to the metal meteorites, but completely different. It contained a trace of metal element. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled as he watched. The entire corpse of the giant starry sky beast was incomparably huge, comparable to a small planet. Wang Xian waved his arm and the 5 Elements Grindstone landed beside the corpse. The grindstone rotated and obliterated the corpse. I can absorb it. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled when he realized that the 5 Elements Grindstone could absorb the corpse. The 5 Elements Grindstone should be able to improve significantly by absorbing the corpse. His eyes swept around, carefully sizing up the place. The entire area was huge. There was a giant starry sky beast here. Perhaps there were more of them around. If he could kill 1 or 2 more, the strength of the 5 Elements Grindstone should be able to achieve another breakthrough. After all, this giant starry sky beast contained too much metal. He scanned for a while but did not find the first giant starry sky beast. Instead, he saw a piece of metal flying over from the storm. The metal was not big, and the giant starry sky beasts around the storm were not interested. Wang Xian moved and flew over immediately. After easily obtaining another piece of metal, he smiled. The speed of obtaining metal meteorites here was several times faster than in space. Almost every few hours, a metal meteor could be seen flying out from the inside. Although there were no astral beasts here, 1 meteorite a day was enough to accumulate enough resources for the 5 Elements Grindstone to break through if they stayed here for 100 years. It would be great if I could get the corpse of the giant starry sky beast in the center of the storm mainland. Wang Xian fantasized, but he did not dare to go near those giant starry sky beasts. The giant starry sky beast outside was already so strong. It would be a piece of cake for the one in the center of the storm mainland to kill him. Wang Xian found a better spot, floated in the void and waited quietly. Time passed quickly again. It was different from what Wang Xian had expected. 100 years had passed, but he did not gather enough metal for the 5 elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon plate. The main reason was that after 50 years, the meteorites that were swept into the sky turned into a large amount of seawater. The seawater was condensed by the terrifying power of the storm, forming crystals. These crystals were beneficial to the cultivation of water element cultivators, but they were not too precious. For a full 50 years, it was these crystals that flew out, occasionally mixed with some metal ores. This caused his harvest to decrease by about 10 times. Even the giant star behemoths on the other side of the storm continent were lying there motionlessly, as if they had fallen into a deep sleep. I'll wait for another 10 years. If it's still like this, I can consider changing places. Wang Xian looked ahead with sparkling eyes. The rate at which they could obtain meteors had already dropped significantly. It was not as good as searching for habitable planets elsewhere. However, there was also an advantage to staying here, and that was that it was safer. Boom boom boom. Wang Xian stood in the void and watched quietly as the horrifying sounds of the storm continued. All of a sudden, a small but extremely dazzling piece of metal flew out of the storm. At this moment, a piece of metal that was emitting a cold glow appeared. It was like a block of ice. The entire block of ice was 1,000 meters wide, but the energy it contained was extremely terrifying. The storm that was engulfing this piece of metal seemed to have been sealed, and the speed of the storm in the surrounding area was greatly reduced. The appearance of a special piece of metal immediately attracted the attention of a huge sleeping star behemoth. That giant star beast lifted its head and stared at this special piece of metal. It did not devour it immediately. However, after hesitating for dozens of seconds, this giant star beast immediately swayed its huge body and flew towards that special piece of metal. At this moment, another giant star beast flew up and roared at the giant star beast in front of it. When the giant star beast in front of it heard this majestic roar, it swayed its huge body and gradually stopped, not daring to compete with it. That giant star beast opened its huge mouth and swallowed that piece of cold metal. However, in the next instant, that piece of cold metal pierced through its head and continued flying away. That giant star beast was in pain and let out an incomparably intense scream. Some of the surrounding giant star behemoths lifted their heads and looked at that piece of cold metal with fear. Roar. That giant star beast was still roaring in pain, while the rest of the giant star behemoths lowered their heads slightly. That piece of cold metal could penetrate the head of that giant star beast in an instant. Wang Xian was shocked when he saw this. That giant star beast was terrifyingly strong. However, it was penetrated by that piece of cold metal in an instant. That piece of cold metal was definitely not simple. Wang Xian's eyes were burning with passion. He looked at that piece of cold metal. Without any hesitation, he flew straight towards that piece of metal. As he neared the front of that piece of metal, he felt an extreme chill, causing him to hold his breath for a moment. Just a piece of metal and it's already so strong. This is unbelievable. Wang Xian sensed it and his expression changed. He waved his arm slightly and a bunch of thorny vines wrapped around it. However, when the thorny vines wrapped around it, they were gradually frozen and cracked. It was completely useless. Wang Xian tried to stop it with other attributes, but to no avail. That piece of cold metal continued to fly forward at high speed. Wang Xian frowned slightly. Without any hesitation, he flew to the front and slammed the meteorites towards it. Regardless of which meteorites collided with it, they would be crushed immediately. Wang Xian did not stop. One meteorite after another was bombarded and flew forward continuously. Although the cold metal was very special, its speed was completely reduced by Wang Xian's constant obstruction and collision with the meteorites. This made him delighted as he continued to reduce the speed of the cold metal. Success! He followed this piece of cold metal for a total of 5 days. During these 5 days, he had been obstructing it continuously. On this day, this piece of ice metal finally stopped. Seeing this scene, his eyes lit up. A piece of cold metal that could easily penetrate the head of a powerful giant star beast must be extraordinary. One should know that the group of giant star behemoths was extremely terrifying. Wang Xian immediately approached the cold metal and the extreme chill came again. The white, special metal meteorites were shining brightly. Chapter 3726, Huff Huff. Wang Xian took a deep breath and stared at the piece of ice metal. He channeled all his energy and approached it. His palm landed gently on it. Instantly, he felt a freezing sensation. One should know that Wang Xian wasn't weak. Although he was suppressed in the universe, his physical strength was still there. This ice gave him a feeling that he was going to be frozen. Can this 5 elements great grindstone devour it? Wang Xian couldn't help but doubt. After a moment of hesitation, he let the 5 elements great grindstone hover above him. The 5 elements great grindstone grinded the entire piece of ice metal like a millstone. After waves of energy landed on it, only indiscernible ice chips fell from it. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows. It could be devoured, but it would probably take a long time. As long as it can be devoured, the 5 elements great grindstone will devour it. I'm 100% sure that I can improve again. Wang Xian murmured to himself as he looked around. In 5 days he had flown a long distance. He was hesitating whether to return to his previous position or go somewhere else. Forget it. I'll go to other places to continue exploring. After much hesitation, he made up his mind. However, Wang Xian had set up a demonic soul altar here. Through this demonic soul altar, he could teleport and lie over instantly. Not only that, Wang Xian was prepared to set up a demonic soul altar when he came across some treasured lands in the future. In this way, even if he didn't come, the disciples of the Dragon Palace could come over. Let's go. I've gained quite a lot over the past 200 years. With a smile on his face, Wang Xian made a move and flew towards the left. The left was the way to leave this place. He had already checked it out. While flying in the void, he kept the 5 elements great grindstone and allowed it to absorb the ice metal bit by bit. After flying in the void for 10 years, Wang Xian finally flew out of the area shrouded by meteorites. I wonder where in the universe this belongs to. Let's go. He scanned his surroundings and could only choose one direction as he flew aimlessly. What good luck. After flying for more than 10 days, he saw a dozen planets lined up in the void ahead. Every planet was exuding dense vitality and lush greenery. Wang Xian increased his speed and soon arrived in front of the planets. He scanned them with his eyes. There's something wrong with those 2 planets. Soon, Wang Xian noticed some problems. 2 of the planets had signs of life. Buzz. Wang Xian moved and 2 nether ghost doppelgangers appeared beside him. They immediately flew towards the 2 habitable planets. As the 2 nether ghost avatars drew closer, they were even more certain that there were star behemoths on those 2 planets. This caused a trace of vigilance to appear on his face. Whoosh whoosh. At this time, 2 more dark ghost avatars appeared around him. These 2 avatars quickly flew towards another life planet and gathered some of the divine fruits and divine grasses on them. Whoosh 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 whoosh. Right here, my lords. There are over a dozen habitable planets and 2 giant star behemoths. Right at this moment, a burst of energy suddenly appeared from behind. A faint voice could be heard. Wang Xian was slightly taken aback. Waves of dark energy instantly filled his body and enveloped him completely. He tried his best to suppress the dragon might on his body as he looked behind him. With a sweep of his gaze, he saw more than a dozen figures flying over. At the head of the group were 3 fire phoenixes. They flapped their phoenix wings and looked exceptionally sacred. Around them were more than a dozen demonic beasts with similar wings. More than a dozen figures flew over. At this time, they also noticed Wang Xian floating in the air. Their eyes lit up. The 3 fire phoenixes looked at Wang Xian and sized him up. Oh no, other experts are coming. When the dozen demonic beasts saw Wang Xian, they immediately frowned and their faces were filled with vigilance. Which race is he from? Dark energy. He doesn't look like the Nether race or the Skeleton race. I can't sense his aura. He might be an expert from our advanced races. The dozen demonic beasts transmitted their voices as they stared at Wang Xian with flickering eyes. Which expert is that ahead? We discovered this place first. You should leave quickly. A demonic beast stared at Wang Xian and said, I didn't expect to meet a disciple from a nine-essence world. Wang Xian swept his gaze across them and squinted his eyes at the three fire phoenixes. Wang Xian did not sense any threat from the three fire phoenixes. This time, there were many experts from various pinnacle races here. However, the top experts among the sovereigns did not enter. Their strengths were all below 4th or 5th order sovereigns. Given Wang Xian's current strength, he did not really care if he met some pinnacle races. Treasures belong to those with strength. Whoever can get it will own it. Wang Xian stared at them and said plainly, Huixinfeng, there's no need. Those two giant space beasts are not very strong. I think we can tame them. Great. Giant space beasts as mounts. How majestic. They will be of great help to us when they grow. The three fire phoenixes in the middle suddenly spoke. They did not seem to care about Wang Xian at all. In fact, that was the case. Most importantly, they couldn't sense the aura of a ruler from Wang Xian. Any expert who broke through to the sovereign realm would experience some changes in their aura and aura. These changes might not be noticeable to other experts, but as sovereigns, they could sense it in an instant. That figure had not even broken through to the universe's sovereign realm. As such, there was no need to care about him. Even if the other party was from another pinnacle race and had not reached the sovereign realm, they did not need to care about him. Since that's the case, let's do it. The three fire phoenixes looked at each other, flapped their wings, and flew straight ahead. When they came to Wang Xian's right, they looked at him. The fire phoenix in the middle said, I don't care which race you are from. Get out of here immediately. This place belongs to us. When Wang Xian heard them, he raised his eyebrows slightly, and his eyes shone brightly. After the fire phoenix in the middle finished speaking, he turned around and locked his gaze on a planet with life. On this planet, they could feel the aura of the giant space beasts. Phoenix race. When Wang Xian heard their soft shout and felt their strength, a cold smile appeared on his face. In the next moment, the unbeginning saint wings on his back flapped, and he disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he was already in front of a fire phoenix. Chapter 37:27. Wang Xian's sudden disappearance caught the attention of the fire phoenix in the middle. When he saw Wang Xian appearing beside them in an instant, his pupils constricted. Damn it. Shit. He hurriedly shouted. However, while he had reacted, the fire phoenix beside him hadn't. Wang Xian stretched out his arm with a claw of darkness in his palm and grabbed at the fire phoenix beside him. The claw of darkness in his hand was an innate cardinal treasure that he had obtained from the Invincible domain. With the 5 elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon plate, innate cardinal treasures were useless against Wang Xian. Wang Xian basically did not use innate cardinal treasures. But this time, he purposely used an innate cardinal treasure. The horrifying claw of darkness entered the fire phoenix's body, followed his blood, and arrived at his heart. Every innate cardinal treasure had a strange and horrifying ability. For example, this claw of darkness was called the claw of the heart. Once it entered the body, it would enter the heart. Such innate cardinal treasures were very powerful. Of course, to Wang Xian, it was more convenient to use the 5 elements grindstone. Arg! The claw of the heart entered his body, causing the fire phoenix to let out a shrill scream. He turned his head and stared at Wang Xian in horror. However, under the shroud of darkness, he could only see a blood-red pupil. Damn it! The hearts of the other 2 fire phoenixes thumped violently. They had completely disregarded this figure because they could not sense the aura of a sovereign from him. However, this sudden burst of strength had actually killed their companions in an instant. One had to know that their companion had the strength of a first-order sovereign. Which pinnacle race are you from? You must be tired of living. The fire phoenix in the middle was slightly stronger. He opened his mouth and a wave of flames engulfed Wang Xian. You are the ones who are tired of living. Phoenix clan? He died. Wang Xian's eyes were cold and filled with murderous intent. He had always kept the grudge against the invincible domain in mind. Wang. As soon as he finished his sentence, 4 nether ghost doppelgangers appeared around him. They stared at them coldly and charged over without any hesitation. Nether ghost doppelgangers? You are from the Nether Ghost clan? Damn it. When the Fire Phoenix saw this, her face turned cold. Wang Xian flapped the unbeginning sacred wings that were shrouded in darkness. Wind and thunder flashed and instantly locked onto another Fire Phoenix. 3 Fire Phoenixes, 2 at the First Order Universe Sovereign Realm, and 1 at the Second Order Universe Sovereign Realm. The 4 Nether Ghost avatars attacked the Second Order Sovereign, while he attacked the First Order Sovereign. Not good, we are no match for him. The Fire Phoenix in the center sensed the strength of Dark Ghost's doppelganger, and her pupils constricted as shock appeared on her face. The other Fire Phoenix was even more terrified. He couldn't see Wang Xian at all as he scanned his surroundings in panic. A Lord Fire Phoenix was actually killed. Not good, we've encountered an expert. It's an expert from the Nether clan. We have to flee. When the other 10 demonic beasts saw one of the Fire Phoenixes being killed in an instant, their faces were filled with fear. Without any hesitation, they hurriedly fled into the distance. But at this moment, they heard a piercing sound. Big brother, save me. A blood-curdling scream was heard once again. They couldn't help but turn back to see. Their pupils constricted, and their hearts tightened. 3 Fire Phoenixes are no match for the other party. Run. The other party is terrifying. The 10 demonic beasts felt their scalps prickling as they fled for their lives. Lord from the Nether clan, we have no intention of offending you. We are willing to give up this place to you. We are willing to leave this place. When the last Fire Phoenix saw another comrade being killed in an instant, his eyes widened, and his heart was filled with fear. The other party had the strength to annihilate them easily. But in this universe, they couldn't return to their own holy kingdom in an instant. Don't even think of escaping. Wang Xian easily killed the second Fire Phoenix. His gaze fell on the last Fire Phoenix, and his eyes were filled with a cold light. With a wave of his arm, a devil ship flew out from his palm. The devil ship expanded 1,000,000 times, and charged towards the fleeing demonic beasts. No, don't kill us. The demonic beasts couldn't resist at all. Even with their speed, they were much slower than the devil ship. And this devil ship was also an innate cardinal treasure. Their strength hadn't even reached the sovereign realm in the 9 Origins universe. They were basically cannon fodder. The devil ship caught up with them easily, rammed into their bodies, and killed them instantly. We don't have any deep grudges. Why are you so ruthless? When the Second Order Sovereign Fire Phoenix saw that Wang Xian didn't even spare a dozen demonic beasts, his expression changed drastically. Wang Xian ignored him. With a move, he charged over with the 4 Nether Ghost doppelgangers. Chirp, chirp, chirp. It won't be that easy to kill me. Nirvana, burn. The Fire Phoenix's eyes were filled with ferocity. He spread his phoenix wings, and the raging flames of life began to burn. As the flames of life burned, the terrifying power of the flames swept across the surrounding starry sky. Among the dozen planets in the distance, 2 of them moved. If you want to kill me, you'll have to be prepared to perish together with me. The Fire Phoenix's eyes were burning with flames as he roared. His strength skyrocketed in an instant. The terrifying thing about the Phoenix race was that they could burn their own flames of life. Under the burning of the flames, one's strength would be greatly enhanced. When the Phoenix race went all out, it was extremely terrifying. Wang Xian snorted coldly. With a thought, the 5 elements grindstone appeared in the sky above. Above the grindstone, there was a piece of ice metal. Confine! Wang Xian bellowed. Streams of dark energy wrapped around the Fire Phoenix. The 4 Nether Ghost doppelgangers also wrapped around it. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Facing Wang Xian's attack, the Fire Phoenix let out a furious roar. Terrifying flames burned as he struggled to break free. However, at this time, 5 divine dragons emerged from the 5 elements grindstone in the sky, roared, and struck heavily on the ice metal. The entire piece of metal flew towards the fire phoenix at a terrifying speed. Rumble, rumble, rumble. When the fire phoenix saw a piece of ice metal flying towards him, he raised his head and spat out the flames of life of the phoenix. However, when the terrifying flames landed on the ice metal, there wasn't the slightest change. It continued to smash towards him at a terrifying speed. Bam! Chapter 37:28, Bam! The icy metal landed heavily on the body of the fire phoenix. The fire phoenix was burning with terrifying flames of life. He was not too bothered by the metal attack. Of course, he couldn't dodge it even if he wanted to. However, when the metal landed on his body, a pure power of ice and a terrifying impact directly penetrated his body. The metal was a few thousand meters wide, and a 1,000-meter hole appeared on his body. The terrifying icy force caused the fire phoenix to tremble violently. He felt as if his body and blood had been completely frozen. His eyes were filled with fear and despair. No! He screamed crazily as his body trembled violently. Die! Seeing that the fire phoenix was severely injured, Wang Xian moved and rushed over with the 4 dark ghost doppelgangers. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The terrifying attacks landed on the fire phoenix, and his vitality was rapidly disappearing. At this time, 2 giant space beasts emerged from 2 living planets not far away. Their huge bodies looked over as they sensed a trace of threat. Woo-woo. The 2 giant space beasts did not hesitate as they fled into the distance. Swish swish. Wang Xian moved and quickly kept the corpses of the 3 fire phoenixes before flying towards the 2 giant space beasts. The 2 giant space beasts were slightly weaker than Wang Xian and should not have reached the level of a universe lord. 5 elements grindstone, suppress. Wang Xian waved his arm and the 5 elements grindstone flew over. Divine dragon shadows flew out and entangled the 2 giant space beasts. The 2 giant space beasts were entangled by the divine dragon shadows and tried to break free. However, under the suppression of the 5 elements grindstone, they could not move at all. Perfect! Wang Xian looked over and revealed a smile. 3 fire phoenix corpses, one of which was a second-order universe Lord Realm Fire Phoenix. Just this corpse alone could increase the number of Pinnacle Universe Lord Realm disciples in the Dragon Palace by 100. The other 2 First-Order Universe Lord Realm corpses could also increase the number of Dragon Palace disciples by 20. This was a huge harvest. Should I kill these 2 giant space beasts or? Wang Xian looked at the 2 galactic beasts that he had suppressed and was deep in thought. These 2 star behemoths weren't very strong. Didn't the 3 phoenixes say that they wanted to suppress it and make it into a star behemoth's mount? He thought about the words of the 3 fire phoenixes, and his face revealed a pensive expression. After hesitating for a moment, he examined the corpses of the 3 fire phoenixes. Because they couldn't sense their divine kingdoms, they couldn't put their items in their divine kingdoms. They could only store them in spatial treasures. Opening the spatial treasures of the 3 fire phoenixes, a pleasantly surprised expression immediately appeared on his face. There are so many treasures here. They must have plundered at least a few hundred life planets. Wang Xian checked their storage space and was pleasantly surprised. Apart from these, there were also a few communication stone plates. The communication stone plate was not like the smart brain, which could maintain 100% confidentiality. However, the communication stone plate of a powerhouse was still very difficult to decipher. He waved his arm, and the devil ship in the distance flew over, carrying some corpses. Wang Xian searched the corpses and found some treasures and communication stone discs. He took a communication stone plate, and after deciphering it, he immediately raised his eyebrows. This communication stone plate was made to imitate some of the models of the smart brain, but it was more concise. On the communication stone plate, there were the contact numbers of the 12 pinnacle races. Usually, when disciples from the 9 Origins universe found treasures, they could contact the pinnacle races if it was too dangerous. And the pinnacle races would also give them sufficient rewards. This was one of the reasons. Secondly, the entire communication stone plate had a large amount of messages and information, and even some strategies. Among them, there was even a map. There were many missing parts on the map, and it was obvious that the experts from the Nine Origins universe had drawn it themselves. It wasn't very reliable. Wang Xian checked it and found all kinds of information. There were even messages from experts saying that they had obtained great opportunities. Seems like there are many experts and disciples from the Nine Origins universe here. Wang Xian murmured. Looking at the communication stone plate, his eyes suddenly lit up. Killing 3 fire phoenixes had not only brought him 3 Dominator-level corpses, but also a large amount of resources and treasures. If he could kill a few dozen of them, he would have enough resources to break through. Why don't I give it a try? Anyway, I have a grudge with the angel race and the phoenix race. If I can kill some of them, it's not bad. Wang Xian murmured, and his eyes shone. With his current strength, as long as they were not second-order sovereigns, he could kill them. Even if there were 2 or 3 second-order sovereigns, he had the confidence to do so. After killing a few, he would continue to search for treasures. Thinking of this, a smile appeared on his face. His gaze swept across the surroundings, and he began to collect some resources from the planets. After collecting, he stood there and took out a communication stone plate. His eyes shone brightly. He hesitated for a moment, found the contact number of the angel race, and sent a message. Lords from the angel race, I found a dozen or so planets, but there is danger here. It seems there are 2 giant space beasts. After sending the message, he waited patiently. Open the location on your side. Also, can you sense the strength of the giant space beasts? Soon, a message came. Wang Xian looked at it and no longer blocked the location of the communication stone plate. The 2 giant space beasts should have the combat strength of a third-order universe sovereign. At the same time, Wang Xian's location and information were sent to all the experts and disciples of the angel race through the communication device. Who is near this location? A disciple from a high-level race reported that there are a dozen or so planets here, but there are 2 giant space beasts. The giant space beasts need us first-order sovereigns to deal with. The message was sent out. I'm closer. Soon, an angel replied, I'll lead my angel army, and we can deal with them easily. Alright, be careful. Inform me if there's any problem. The expert from the angel race in charge of receiving the message immediately reminded. This was a method used by the angel race to transmit messages. Every angel above the ruler realm would head to their respective territories to search for treasures. Once a disciple from a high-level race asked them for help, the nearest angel would accept the mission. Wait for me there, I'll be there in 2 days. Soon, Wang Xian received a message from an angel. Chapter 3729. Wang Xian's eyes lit up when he saw the news. He took the bait. Perhaps the experts from the angel tribe would never have thought that this was a trap or that someone would dare to hunt them down. Although he took the bait, it was still uncertain if he could succeed. If a third-order sovereign battle angel came, he wouldn't be a match. He could only slip away. I hope I won't encounter such a situation. Wang Xian murmured. This was a trial. If everything went well, it would be easier for him to strike in the future. He looked around and waved his arm. A darkness attribute innate spiritual treasure appeared in front of him. It was a dark cloud. When Wang Xian entered it, the dark cloud gradually hid in the dark void. 2 days passed quickly, and a 12-winged archangel flew over, his eyes flickering as he scanned the surroundings. When he saw the dozen or so habitable planets, he hesitated. He looked around again and fixed his eyes on Wang Xian. Swish. He flapped his wings slightly and came to Wang Xian's side. Come out, he said plainly. Judging from the aura, it should be a second-order sovereign realm angel. I'm lucky. Wang Xian looked at the great angel in front of him with excitement in his eyes. In the next instant, he unleashed his speed to the maximum and attacked the great angel without hesitation. Ha! The angel suddenly sensed a fatal threat coming at him. His heart tightened, and a white feather immediately appeared in his hand. Boom! Wang Xian stared at the great angel with cold eyes. The 5 elements grindstone blasted towards the great angel. At such a distance and speed, the great angel had no chance to resist. The terrifying energy landed on the great angel. But soon he frowned. What a strong defense! A pair of pure white wings appeared in front of him, helping him block this fatal blow. Courting death. For you. The 12-winged angel stared at Wang Xian with an embarrassed look on his face. Someone attacked him. Was it the disciple who asked for help from the angel tribe? Was this a trap? Could it be that experts from other pinnacle races wanted to attack the angel tribe? No, the possibility was low. There was no need for the other pinnacle races to offend the angel tribe. There were treasures everywhere in the universe. There was no need for a conflict at this time. Then what was the reason? The 12-winged angel did not understand what was going on. After dodging the fatal attack, he saw more attacks coming at him. Damn it, this guy's strength is no weaker than mine. The 12-winged angel cursed angrily. While the defense was still there, he waved his arm. In an instant, a 1,000,000-strong angel army appeared around him. At the front of the angel army, there were 6 First-Order Universe Ruler Realm Battle Angels. As for the rest of the powerful battle angels, some held swords and shields, some held spears, and some held staffs. Attack this guy! The 12-winged angel roared furiously. Kill! Kill! Fight for the Lord! One by one, the battle angels let out a frenzied roar. Spears and attacks of light engulfed Wang Xian. Seeing their attacks, Wang Xian smirked. He stared at the battle angel, and 4 Dark Ghost doppelgangers appeared beside him. 2 of Dark Ghost's avatars moved and instantly attacked the angel core. You're from the Nether clan. The 12-winged angel bellowed when he saw the doppelganger of the Dark Ghost suddenly appearing beside Wang Xian. Wang Xian waved his arm, and the 5 elements grindstone appeared above him. On the 5 elements grindstone, there was also that piece of ice metal. Swish, swish, swish. His figure moved, and he quickly attacked the 12-winged angel. The other 2 Dark Ghost doppelgangers followed him on the left and right. Rumble, rumble. Just like before, the Fire Phoenix ignited its life flame to unleash terrifying combat strength. This time, the 12-winged angel had a powerful defensive treasure. Wang Xian used the same piece of ice metal to clash with it. With Wang Xian's strength and the 2 Dark Ghost doppelgangers, he could easily suppress the 12-winged angel. Damn it, what is he trying to do? This guy from the Nether clan actually ambushed me. Did he kill the guy who sent the message? The 12-winged angel revealed an ugly expression. With a wave of his palm, a huge sword appeared in his hand, and he slashed at the incoming dark energy. However, under the attack of Wang Xian and the Dark Ghost doppelgangers, he could only be trapped on the spot. There was no way he could break free. At this moment, the piece of ice metal on the 5 elements grindstone smashed heavily at the 12-winged angel under the control of the grindstone. What's this? Seeing the ice metal attacking him, the 12-winged angel's expression changed drastically. The 12-winged angel's expression changed drastically. However, the layers of attacks from Wang Xian and the Dark Ghost doppelgangers surrounded him. There was no way he could dodge. When the 12-winged angel saw the ice metal smashing towards him and sensed the terrifying energy coming from it, his expression changed drastically. The long sword in his hand smashed down heavily. Bam! Cut. However, cracks appeared on the ice metal as the huge sword landed on it. The ice metal continued to smash towards him at a terrifying speed. Oh no, what the hell is this? The 12-winged angel's expression changed drastically, and his eyes were filled with horror. Bam! Ka-ka-ka! A dull and loud collision sound reverberated. The 12-winged angel's expression changed drastically as he spat out a large mouthful of blood. Cracks appeared on the defense in front of him, and the feather in his hand also looked a little illusory. It's over. I don't have the treasure to revive myself. Despair surged in his heart, and he could only feel his vision turning black. Die, you from the Angel Clan. At this moment, Wang Xian charged over. With a wave of his arm, the 5 elements grindstone landed in his hand. A wave of energy was injected into it, and the 5 elements grindstone spun rapidly as it smashed heavily towards the angel. The terrifying speed and the powerful energy instantly landed on his body, causing his body to fly downwards continuously. His vitality was also rapidly disappearing. A complete kill. Wang Xian revealed a faint smile as he quickly kept the corpse. As for the rest of the angel army, they had no way to resist the attack of the 2 dark ghost doppelgangers. It's still the best to hunt the experts from the Angel clan and the Phoenix clan in the universe. Wang Xian revealed a smile. Chapter 3730, 1 Second Order Universe Lord Realm Angel, 6 First Order Sovereign Realm Battle Angels, and a 1,000,000-strong angel army. There were more than 100 pinnacle venerable realm battle angels in the universe. The harvest this time could increase the number of venerable realm disciples in the Dragon Palace by 200 to 300. This was simply a huge harvest. This was faster than searching for resources on thousands of habitable planets. Moreover, Wang Xian had obtained a lot of resources and treasures from this angel. These resources and treasures were comparable to the harvest of hundreds of habitable planets. This was a huge profit. He grinned and couldn't help but laugh. However, I have to do this often. I can't do it continuously. He mumbled to himself. After killing this angel, Wang Xian did not intend to continue with the mission. When a sovereign realm angel was killed, the angel race might suspect that he had encountered a powerful giant space beast. But if powerful angels were killed one after another, the angel clan would definitely investigate it. Wang Xian didn't have the capability to go against them. After this operation, it would take at least another 100 years for him to carry out another operation. It was better to be safe than sorry. Similarly, the Phoenix race was the same. After 100 years, he was prepared to carry out another wave. Now, he had to go to the starry universe to look for resources. Wang Xian planned in his heart. Although it was good to kill the experts from the angel race and the Phoenix race, they were still peak races. He had to be careful. Just as Wang Xian left and the angel was killed by him, the angel tribe received the news. They immediately sent experts to investigate the situation. Every sovereign realm angel was the core combat power of the angel race. Once there was a trace, they had to investigate. Was it devoured by the giant space beast, or did something else happen? However, in the starry universe, the rules and energy of the universe were different. Some methods couldn't be used. Wang Xian didn't care if the angel race would investigate. At this moment, he was already flying very far in one direction. My current position shouldn't be too far from the exit. I'll continue to go deeper. Wang Xian continued flying forward, searching for habitable planets one after another. Time passed quickly. 50 years was just a snap of the fingers. I'm 1/5 of the way to the resources for the next upgrade. This isn't slow. Wang Xian floated above a planet and mumbled to himself. He rested for a while, looked ahead, and continued flying. After flying for another day, he looked ahead and saw 2 planets with life in the sky. This made him smile. With a swift movement, Wang Xian flew over immediately. There are more treasures on these 2 life planets. Wang Xian sized them up and revealed a smile on his face. He began to collect them quickly. Suddenly, a roar reverberated through the air. Wang Xian, who was collecting resources, was taken aback. He instantly flew up into the sky. Boom, boom, boom. In the next moment, a giant astral beast with countless claws flew over at high speed, exuding a violent aura. When Wang Xian saw it, his eyes narrowed and his face was filled with vigilance. This star beast's strength has reached the sovereign level. His body moved and he quickly retreated. A star beast at the level of a sovereign was no longer something that Wang Xian could deal with. With the suppression of the world origin, he could only escape. Without any hesitation, Wang Xian turned and fled into the distance. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In the next moment, he sensed horrifying tentacles flying towards him. These tentacles broke away from the body of the giant astral beast at an abnormally terrifying speed. Damn! Wang Xian looked over and was shocked and furious. He unleashed the unbeginning sacred wings to the maximum and flew away at high speed. Lingling. Sensing the speed of the tentacles, he willed Lingling to appear beside him. Boost. He shouted again and Lingling immediately boosted him. With Lingling's boost, Wang Xian's speed increased a little. Dark Ghost Doppelganger. At the same time, he summoned the Dark Ghost Doppelganger and fled in different directions. Behind him, hundreds of tentacles had locked onto him and were closing in rapidly. These tentacles are so fast. Wang Xian's expression changed. In just 10 seconds they had caught up to him. Dark Dragon Conversion. His body trembled. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The sound of the tentacles whizzing could be heard. In the next instant, Wang Xian disappeared. If he did not leave this place, he would definitely be severely injured. Wang Xian switched to another Dark Ghost Doppelganger and continued to flee. I got rid of it. After flying for some distance, he heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that the giant galactic beast did not continue its pursuit. That giant galactic beast found me so quickly. I didn't even notice it. He mumbled to himself as his eyes shone brightly. He hesitated for a moment and could only fly towards the right. However, after flying for half an hour, he suddenly heard a familiar roar again. This made Wang Xian's expression stiffen. He quickly looked over. What's going on? Or is it that giant galactic beast? Is it still chasing me? No, it shouldn't be chasing me. The position is wrong. Wang Xian's expression changed slightly. Without any hesitation, he continued to flee. This time, he reacted faster than the previous time and escaped further. Daunting but not dangerous. What's going on? Why would I encounter this giant galactic beast again? Wang Xian mumbled to himself and frowned slightly. He was sure that the previous giant galactic beast that was chasing him was the same one. However, he was being chased the moment he entered this place. This was a little strange. There's a possibility. Wang Xian's expression turned solemn. That was, the giant galactic beast at the Dominator level had its own territory. This was not impossible. In fact, the possibility was very high. The Dominator level was already a top-notch existence. They had their own territory and territories. Anyone who trespassed would be seen as an invasion. They would be attacked. My position shouldn't be the center of the giant galactic beast's territory. If that's the case, it won't be so easy to obtain large amounts of resources. He mumbled to himself. However, all of this was just his conjecture. He still had to test it out himself. If that was the case, he could either change his direction and avoid the giant galactic beast's territory or destroy it. Currently, it was impossible for him to destroy the giant galactic beast. Chapter 37-31. I'll give it a try. If that's the case, I'll be in big trouble. Wang Xian murmured to himself. He moved and prepared to bypass this region and continue flying forward. After flying for more than 10 days, Wang Xian felt that he should have left the territory of the giant galactic beast. He began to search the surroundings. There's a habitable planet ahead. 3 days later, he found a habitable planet. He scanned the surroundings and a dark ghost doppelganger appeared around him. He flew towards the habitable planet ahead. At the same time, he controlled the other dark ghost doppelganger to fly backward, just in case. This planet is also rich in resources. The dark ghost doppelganger scanned the planet, and Wang Xian's eyes lit up. The doppelganger immediately entered and began to search for resources. Rumble, rumble, rumble. But soon, in less than 10 seconds, he sensed a terrifying aura rushing towards him. This made Wang Xian's hair stand on end. He swept his gaze over and fled into the distance without any hesitation. Time to flee. I'll be finished if I don't flee. At the same time, Wang Xian's face darkened. His guess had been confirmed. Giant galactic beasts of the Dominator level would occupy a territory. These habitable planets were their assets. Once there was an intruder, they would attack. Moreover, the speed of these giant galactic beasts was terrifying. Perhaps some giant galactic beasts had abilities similar to Kuan. Coupled with their familiarity with their territory, they could rush over in an instant. I'll continue to observe. If it's still the same, I'll fly back. Wang Xian made up his mind. A month later, he encountered another giant galactic beast and completely gave up on the idea of venturing deeper. It was too dangerous. If he encountered 2 or 3 giant galactic beasts of the Dominator level, he would be finished. Go back. Without any hesitation, he flew towards the back. The back should be where the passage opened. There were no giant galactic beasts of the Dominator level nearby. As he flew back, he encountered some habitable planets along the way. However, some of the planets no longer had any treasures. Clearly, someone had plucked the treasures from these habitable planets. In fact, Wang Xian even met some experts and disciples from the Nine-Source universe along the way. He did not converse with them and continued flying. A year later, he stood in the void, looking ahead helplessly. The end of the universe. There was an end to the universe. And at the end of the universe was chaos. His side was still full of vitality, but the position in front of him was a piece of chaos, as if the world had not been created yet. There was no energy, no vitality. The end of the universe. Wang Xian had yet to see the end of the Nine-Source universe, but he did see the end of the Starry Sky universe. The space here is a bit weaker. The passageway between the Starry Sky universe and the Nine Essences universe is at the edge of the Starry Sky universe. As Wang Xian spoke, he frowned slightly. Once they got close to the center, it was the domain of the giant star beasts. Only a rank 4 Nine Essences universe ruler would be able to deal with a single ruler here. The suppression was too great. During the cataclysm, the passageway will open and the pressure will vanish. That will be the perfect opportunity. Right now, the Nine Essences universe is too dangerous to enter the Starry Sky. Even though he said that the Starry Sky universe was still a treasure trove for the disciples of the Nine Essences universe. If I want to break through now, it might be very difficult. He frowned slightly. If he wanted to break through, he would need at least the resources of tens of thousands of habitable planets. He had thought that it would be easy, but it turned out that it was not. I'd better go to the huge storm mainland. Wang Xian thought to himself. Although he could not increase his strength at the moment, he could find the resources for the Tai Chi Dragon Board and the 5 Elements Grindstone. He took out the communication compass and sent a message to Enlai. Dragon King. Soon, Enlai appeared beside Wang Xian and bowed to him. Bring me to a place where I've set up the Devil's Soul altar. How are the other disciples of the Dragon Palace? Wang Xian asked. Dragon King, the rest of the brothers of the Dragon Palace are doing well, and there are not many casualties. However, they have discovered that the depths of the Starry Sky universe are still dangerous. Enlai answered. Wang Xian nodded. Tell them that there will be a ruler-level giant star beast near the center. It has its own territory. Once they enter, they will be attacked. Tell them to be careful. Yes, Dragon King. Enlai nodded. In the next moment, the surrounding scene changed, and they came to the area where the meteorites were rampant. Is there any news on Dragon Queen Lan Qingyue's side? Wang Xian continued to ask Enlai. Currently, only Enlai could easily travel between the Dragon Palace and this area. Therefore, everything was relayed by him. Not yet. Dragon Queen said that Xiao Lan and Xiao Zhai followed a group of giant star beasts to the center of the Starry Sky universe. They are now fighting for territory. Enlai answered. Wang Xian nodded slightly. The giant star beasts that lived in the Nine-Source universe in the past had developed intelligence due to the characteristics of the Nine-Source universe. Compared to the giant star beasts in the Starry Sky universe, they had more intelligence. However, having more intelligence did not mean that they were invincible in the Starry Sky universe. I have to increase my strength to the level where I can kill a first-order sovereign star beast as soon as possible. Otherwise, it will be difficult to obtain large amounts of resources in the Starry Sky universe. Wang Xian thought to himself. This required him to increase his strength 2 more times. Of course, he would be able to break through to the sovereign realm after that. At that time, he would not only be able to kill first-order sovereigns. He would also be able to kill second-order sovereigns. After all, he did not have a peak. He could directly leap from 9th order to first-order sovereign. This is going to be difficult. The 5 elements grind and Tai Chi Dragon Plate can increase their strength by 2 levels here. He moved and flew toward the front of the storm continent. The 5 elements grind could at least increase its strength by 1.5 levels. In fact, the 5 elements grindstone might even possess the strength of a 4th-order sovereign realm expert. At that time, it would be able to fight against a sovereign realm giant star beast. Let's do it. I'll stay here for tens of thousands of years first, Wang Xian thought to himself. Along the way, he would hunt for experts from the Phoenix and Angel races and slowly develop his strength. Anyway, he was not in a hurry. He would only go out after the Tai Chi Dragon Plate and 5 elements grind broke through 2 levels. Having made up his mind, he scanned his surroundings and continued to collect the metallic meteorites. Chapter 37-32, Boom Boom Boom. 100 years passed in the blink of an eye. Within the meteorite in front of the storm mainland, a huge millstone glowed, and waves of energy surged from it. Beside it, there was an 800-meter-long piece of ice metal. Breakthrough! After more than 100 years, the 5 elements grind has finally broken through. A smile appeared on Wang Xian's face when he saw this. Ice metal was very difficult to absorb. The 5 elements grind had taken more than 100 years to complete its breakthrough. After the breakthrough, the 5 elements grind had the strength to crush 3rd-order sovereigns in the 9 Origins universe. However, it still wasn't a match for a sovereign star beast here. The remaining ice metal and the metals obtained in the past 100 years should be able to improve significantly after the 5 elements grind absorbs them. The Tai Chi Dragon Plate should be able to improve significantly too. Wang Xian muttered to himself, his eyes shining brightly. There was still a lot of ice metal left, and the 5 elements grind could still improve significantly. As for the Tai Chi Dragon Plate, it might still take some time before it could improve again. Of course, if he was lucky, he could obtain some dark and light metal, and he could improve even faster. Currently, the seawater in the storm had disappeared over the storm mainland, replaced by pieces of meteorite. The 5 elements grindstone is much stronger than me now. Wang Xian waved his arm, and the 5 elements grind flew in front of him. The current 5 elements grindstone could already kill 3rd-order sovereigns. I'm going to find trouble with the Angels and Phoenix race. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he looked ahead, and he flew out immediately. 100 years had passed, and he was prepared to go out and scam the experts of the Angels and Phoenix race. Once in 100 years, to get some resources. He smiled as he took out the communication stone plate he had obtained from the group of demonic beasts and looked at the current situation. However, when he opened it, he discovered that the messages on the communication stone plate were more explosive than before. Obviously, more experts and disciples from the 9 Origins universe had entered. However, among the more explosive topics, there was indeed a large number of deaths of experts and disciples from the 9 Origins universe. The reason for all this was that they had been killed by star beasts while searching for planets with life in the depths of the starry universe. Wang Xian's eyes lit up as he read the message. Apart from that, there was also a lot of news about powerful disciples encountering terrifying space beasts. As more and more news spread, the fact that sovereign-level star behemoths had their own domains was revealed. Moreover, some powerful disciples even named some sovereign-level star behemoths and recorded their strength and the scope of their domains. Furthermore, the powerful disciples of the 9 Essences universe were discussing how, when weaker cultivators entered the domain of the astral behemoths, the astral behemoths wouldn't attack. On the contrary, the stronger ones would definitely be ambushed the moment they stepped in. Of course, if the weak entered the star behemoth's territory and went to those planets to search for treasures, they would also be attacked. All in all, there was a huge amount of information, and most of it was useful to Wang Xian. Of course, apart from this, there was also a lot of information about certain experts obtaining treasures and breaking through. There were even rumors of experts from the Invincible domain breaking through to the Sovereign Realm. The Starry Sky universe was indeed a place with many opportunities. That was why even though the Starry Sky universe was a dangerous place, there were still many disciples from the 9 Essences universe rushing over. If he came across some fortuitous encounter, he would have profited greatly. This was especially true for those powerful disciples who had not broken through for a long time. Wang Xian's eyes lit up as he read through the information. He continued to fly outside. After flying for 10 days, he hovered in the void. With a wave of his arm, the 5 elements grindstone flew into the sky. Waves of earthen yellow energy rippled and stirred the surrounding void. The earthen yellow energy condensed into a huge ball of earth, just like a star. Wang Xian took out the communication stone plate and sent a message to the angel clan. Found the treasure and encountered 4 star behemoths. After sending the message, he moved and 2 huge silhouettes of the star behemoths appeared beside him. These 2 star behemoths were the ones he had encountered more than 100 years ago. He had easily suppressed them in the mother nest. Now he could release them as bait. Subsequently, Wang Xian hid in the surrounding void, waiting for the fish to take the bait. Before long, the angel clan sent him a message, asking him to activate the positioning ability of the communication stone plate. After activating it, he waited quietly. 5 days passed by quickly. In his sight, 3 angels were flying over. The 3 angels flew over and scanned the surroundings. The strength of these 3 angels is at the first-order sovereign realm. Wang Xian hid in the void and frowned slightly when he saw the 3 angels. They were too weak. Let's hope they have more angels in their army. He was looking forward to it. Those 2 star behemoths? Come, let's go over. The 3 angels noticed the 2 star behemoths quickly and flew over. Not bad. Although the strength of these 2 star behemoths is average, they are star behemoths after all. We have subdued them. One of the angels looked over and laughed out loud. Where's the disciple who reported the news to us? Isn't he around? The other angel looked at him in confusion. He might have escaped, or he might have been killed. An expert from the angel clan said plainly as he scanned the surroundings. Let's suppress these star behemoths first and see what treasures are on that special earthen yellow planet. One of the angels flapped his 12 wings and increased his speed. However, just as they got closer, a terrifying energy suddenly pressed down on them. This caused the 3 angels' faces to change drastically, and their eyes were filled with fear. Not good, there might be even more terrifying star behemoths here. An angel's face changed drastically as he roared, "Escape from here!" Boom! As soon as he finished his sentence, he saw pieces of terrifying meteorites flying towards them. Sensing the attack power of these meteorites, their faces changed drastically. This star behemoth is strong, block it. Battle Angel Army! An angel shouted. With a wave of his arm, an angel army appeared behind him. The other 2 angels' hearts tightened. Without any hesitation, they released their angel army. There are only 6 first-order sovereign realm battle angels. Including the 3 of them, there are 9 of them and an angel army. This should be enough. Wang Xian mumbled to himself when he saw this. Chapter 37-33, Boom! When the 3 angels released their angel core, an aura that left them in despair swept over. A terrifyingly large millstone appeared above them at a frightening speed. The space they were in was instantly shrouded by it. What is this? The 3 first-order sovereigns raised their heads and looked at the millstone with despair written all over their faces. Boom! A grayish energy swept over and the 3 angels lost their lives instantly. The current 5 elements grindstone could even kill a 3rd-order sovereign realm expert, much less a 1st-order sovereign realm angel. They didn't even know what kind of enemy they had encountered before they died. After killing them, Wang Xian appeared at the side and kept their corpses with a wave of his hand. He checked the treasures in their hands and smiled. Not bad. The 3 angels had been in the universe for a few hundred years. The resources they had collected were no less than what he had obtained previously. Next, the Phoenix race. Wang Xian smiled and kept the 2 giant space beasts before flying into the distance. After flying for more than 10 days, he stopped, took out the communication stone plate, and repeated what he had done. This time, Wang Xian's luck was pretty good. Two second-order universe sovereigns phoenixes flew over and were easily killed by Wang Xian. These two second-order sovereign phoenixes could increase the number of venerable realm disciples in the Dragon Palace by 200. Killing and arson is the best way to get resources. It's a pity that I can't keep doing this. He murmured and contacted Enlai to send the phoenix and angel corpses to the Dragon Palace. The angels and phoenixes that he had killed previously, together with this one, could bring the Dragon Palace 600 to 700 venerable realm disciples. This would increase the number of venerable realm experts in the Dragon Palace. It wouldn't be long before the Dragon Palace would have a sovereign realm expert. After all, with more venerable realm experts, there were bound to be disciples who could break through. Let's go back. After killing the two second-order sovereigns of the Phoenix race, Wang Xian prepared to return to the Storm mainland. He would only be able to step into the sovereign realm after the five elements' great grind broke through again. The top clans have made a move? Wang Xian flew towards the Storm mainland. As he flew, he took out the communication stone plate to check for information. When he saw a message, his eyes narrowed slightly. An expert disciple discovered that the experts of the peak races were surrounding and attacking a ruler rank space beast. Every dominator rank space beast occupies a huge life planet. Once they kill a dominator rank space beast, they will be able to obtain a huge harvest. The apex races still have a huge advantage. Wang Xian sighed in his heart. He increased his speed and wanted to upgrade the 5 elements grindstone as soon as possible. When they arrived in front of the Storm continent, they suddenly saw a large number of robots and spaceships floating in front of them. When Wang Xian saw it, he was taken aback and squinted his eyes. He hurriedly hid himself and looked ahead. Beep, beep, beep. However, just as he was about to hide, a voice rang out. Not far away from him, there was an incomparably tiny detector. We've been discovered. Wang Xian looked over and his eyes shone brightly. Since he had been discovered, there was nothing for him to hide. Moving his body, Wang Xian sized up the large number of spaceships and robots in front of him before flying over. These robots and spaceships were obviously subordinates of the technological world. And there would definitely be experts from the technological world in front of him. Wang Xian had no qualms about the technological world. Their strongest destructive power could not even threaten a third-order universe lord. Kakaka. Swish, swish, swish. Warning, this place has been occupied by the technological world. Get out of our territory immediately. Several small spaceships flew over and surrounded Wang Xian completely. A mechanical voice warned him. Wang Xian swept his gaze across and waved his arm. A wave of energy landed on these spaceships. Bam, bam, bam. In an instant, all the surrounding spaceships collapsed. He looked ahead and swept a cold gaze across the group of machines. I've discovered this place for hundreds of years. Do you think this is your territory? This is? Analyzing the opponent's strength. Universe Lord? That's not right. The energy in him is terrifying. Analyzing his bloodline, the probability of him being from the divine dragon race is 80%. The opponent is too strong. He's not a match for him. He's not a match for him. In the center of the front, a mecha analyzed Wang Xian's information with a tinge of shock in its eyes. Searching data analysis. There's an 83% chance that the opponent is the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. Another piece of information was transmitted into the mecha's mind, causing its eyes to flicker. The cultivation system of the technological world was the most unique. They were constantly climbing up the technological tree. However, they were stuck at the boundary of the sovereigns. To the scientists of the technological world, they weren't stuck because of the limits of technology, but because they didn't have enough metal materials and special energy. Through their secret research, they had a trump card to go against the sovereigns. Of course, it could only go against a first-level sovereign directly. Moreover, this trump card required the help of inborn cardinal treasures. This also made them realize that to break through the shackles of their current technology, they would need enough powerful metal materials and special energy. This was a treasure trove that the technological world had accidentally discovered. To them, this was crucial. However, the Dragon King before them was clearly not someone they could offend. Greetings to the expert, Lin Wenluo from the technological world. I believe you're the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace? We were wrong to offend you, Dragon King. Lin Wenluo, the scientist in the mecha, flew over and bowed to Wang Xian. The mecha he was wearing looked metallic but had the flexibility of a living creature. I've occupied this place. Leave now. Wang Xian stared at the mecha and said coldly. His words made Lin Wenluo, who was in the mecha, change his expression. Dragon King, the metal here is very important to the technological world. Can you let us occupy some space? We'll take the metal that you don't need. In fact, we can even intercept the metal. Dragon King, you can have the first pick and leave the leftovers to us. Hee, I can occupy this place alone. Why should I share it with you? Wang Xian looked at Lin Wenluo and said with a faint smile. We can help you conceal this place. It's only a matter of time before other experts discover this place. If we conceal it, the chances of them discovering it will be much lower. Lin Wenluo said in a deep voice. Chapter 37-34. Oh. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled as he looked at the scientists of this technological world. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth, light, and darkness. I'll take these 7 elemental metals. You can have the other 2. Wang Xian said plainly. Since the scientists of this technological world had discovered this place, it meant that this place had already been exposed. He had also passed on the information about this place. Once he chased them out, he might spread the news. Once the news was spread, this place would definitely be occupied by the experts of the pinnacle races. After all, the metals here were precious treasures to any race in the 9-source universe. All right. When Lin Wenluo heard this, he immediately nodded and smiled. He was already very satisfied that he could occupy 2 out of the 9 elemental metals. In addition, because of the storm in the storm mainland, the number of wind elemental metals was slightly more than the other elements. He was already very satisfied that he could occupy some from the Dragon King. How are you going to solve the problem of concealment here? Wang Xian looked at him and asked plainly. Dragon King, it's not easy to conceal this place. I can only build some models of the giant beasts of the storm mainland to intimidate them. It should be able to last for a while. Lin Wenluo said, as the giant beasts of the storm mainland are metal, it's difficult to sense their aura. Therefore, the simulation won't be discovered. As long as we build a nest of the giant beasts of the storm mainland, the other pinnacle races won't dare to intrude. In addition, I will build some models of the giant beasts of the storm mainland and use them to devour and intercept these metals. In this way, it will also create an illusion that these metal meteorites are all occupied by the giant beasts of the storm mainland. He revealed his plan, which made Wang Xian raise his eyebrows slightly. That's a good idea. As he spoke, there were many giant beasts of the storm mainland. Based on the horror of those giant beasts of the storm mainland, even the pinnacle races wouldn't dare to approach them. By simulating the same giant beasts of the storm mainland, the chances of being discovered were slim. After all, the giant beasts of the starry sky belonged to this universe. There was no way to detect their strength. What rank are you in the technological world? Wang Xian looked at Lin Wenluo and asked. Dragon King, I'm one of the 9 great scientists of the technological world. Lin Wenluo replied respectfully. The current Dragon Palace was between a high-level race and a pinnacle race, and its technology was much worse. Your technological world has a unique advantage in exploring this universe, right? Wang Xian looked at him and continued asking with flickering eyes. There is indeed a great advantage. As Lin Wenluo spoke, his mecha unfurled to reveal himself. The figure wore thick armor, making it look a little bloated. But now, our technological world is basically about to disband. He spoke with a bitter expression on his face. When Wang Xian saw this, he raised his eyebrows slightly. Right now, the other 8 top scientists of our technological world have already been recruited by the peak races. It can be said that the technological world no longer exists. Lin Wenluo said bitterly, a trace of confusion in his eyes. The development of our scientific and technological world has always been greatly limited, that is, resources and most importantly metals. Without top-level metals, our technology has been trapped here for billions of years. The appearance of the starry sky universe made the top races promise to recruit the other 8 scientists. Then why didn't you join a peak race? Wang Xian looked at him. That's because the technological world was established by my grandfather. Lin Wenluo said slowly. Wang Xian chuckled and did not continue asking. With a flick of his palm, some metal meteorites appeared in his hand. I have some metals with wind and thunder attributes. If you have any treasures that satisfy me, we can trade. These metals with wind and thunder attributes were obtained over the past few hundred years. To him, they were useless. There were a dozen pieces, which was definitely a lot for Lin Wenluo. Lin Wenluo saw it, and his eyes were burning with passion. Following which, he pondered deeply, Dragon King, you might not be interested in the things I have here. I only have this. As he spoke, he took out an item. It was a special piece of leather with spots of light on it. What's this? Wang Xian looked at this special item with curiosity. This is the latest item I've researched, but it's a failure. As Lin Wenluo spoke, he waved his arm and the leather floated in the air. It could expand and shrink at will, and looked very mystical. Although it's a failure, it's the best result of my research so far. It's made from a very strange and unique animal skin that should be left behind from the previous cataclysm. Its main function is to mimic, a perfect mimic. My original plan was to mimic the appearance of a giant beast of the starry sky and travel through the universe. He continued. Why do you call it a failure? Wang Xian looked at him. Because it can't mimic the energy of a giant beast of the starry sky. For example, if I put on this animal skin, I can transform into the appearance of the giant beast of the starry sky in front of me. I can replicate it to 100%. However, the attributes of the giant beast of the starry sky are very unique, and I will be discovered by it. As Lin Wenluo spoke, the robots flew to the side of the animal skin. Soon, the animal skin landed on the robots and began to transform. Gradually, a real giant beast of the starry sky appeared in their sight. Looking at this giant beast of the starry sky, Wang Xian was shocked. He actually couldn't sense it. This was just a robot wearing an animal skin. One had to know that he was only a dozen meters away from it. Yet, he couldn't sense it at such a close distance. This transformation ability was a little terrifying. Also, if I may offend you, Dragon King, he can also transform into the appearance of a divine dragon. As Lin Wenluo spoke, a lifelike Inferno Divine Dragon appeared in front of him. Other than the fact that the Inferno Divine Dragon didn't emit any aura, even Wang Xian couldn't tell the difference. This research of yours is really impressive. What about during a battle? Asked Wang Xian as he looked over. During a battle, you'll be able to sense it. Moreover, some giant beasts of the starry sky and some experts have unique racial talents. Therefore, it's a huge flaw. But I can guarantee that if you cover yourself with this, you won't have much of a problem flying around the storm mainland. I've tested it before, and it has another effect, which is to conceal your aura. Lin Wenluo smiled and said, This research of yours is really unique, but it's not worth much. I'm willing to trade with 3 pieces of metal, said Wang Xian with a smile. For the convenience of reading next time, you can click on the collection button below to record this transaction. Chapter 37-35. All right. Lin Wenluo agreed to the deal. Although this item was made from precious and special animal skin, it was not of much use to him, especially since it was a failed product to him. Dragon King, apart from this treasure, are you interested in some technological items? For example, some surveillance aircraft? Lin Wenluo continued asking. I can take a look. Wang Xian nodded. Lin Wenluo immediately took out some treasures used for surveillance and began explaining them to him. Some items in the technological world were still very useful. For example, their surveillance particle robot. It was a very small robot that could fly very far and was very useful for surveillance. This was not something that experts like Wang Xian could do. Such surveillance had a huge advantage, which was to predict danger in advance. In addition, when there were a lot of them, they could also be used for surveillance and search. Such a tiny surveillance robot had a speed comparable to a 7th or 8th level supremacy. It was the most advanced technology in the technological world. Wang Xian traded some with it. After the trade, Wang Xian operated it and revealed a satisfied look. Lin Wenluo was also very satisfied. While they were trading, Lin Wenluo had already camouflaged the surroundings. The models of giant space beasts were lying around. Some of them even moved a little. This was indeed a great deterrent. It was especially so at the Storm mainland. From time to time, terrifying giant space beasts would fly into the storm and devour pieces of metal. With that group of terrifying existences, few experts dared to step foot here. They would also not suspect these fake giant space beasts. Lin Wenluo, who was in the technological world, used robots to imitate giant space beasts to intercept the meteorites. Wang Xian did not need to do anything. He sat cross-legged and helped the 5 elements grindstone and Tai Chi dragon plate to speed up their absorption. Lin Wenluo was in a simulated giant space beast not far away, researching something. Time passed day by day. Hundreds of years were just a blink of an eye. In between, Wang Xian had used the same method twice to hunt down the experts from the Angel and Phoenix race. However, the first time he hunted down a sovereign. The second time, he hunted down a pinnacle supremacy. In the past 200 years, the peak races have gradually penetrated deeper and deeper. Some of the sovereign rank space beasts have also been killed by them. This has also caused the number of sovereign rank experts in the vicinity to decrease. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled as he read the message on the communication stone plate. This is... Suddenly, Wang Xian's eyes fell on a piece of news and he was shocked. Fire Heart Treasured Land. He immediately clicked on it, and his eyes were filled with surprise. This Fire Heart Treasure Land is simply a holy land for fire element cultivators. A fire phoenix broke through to the sovereign realm here. This heavenly fire ancestor obtained a powerful treasure in the Fire Heart Treasure Land. He actually broke through. This is unbelievable. Heavenly Fire Ancestor has advanced to the sovereign realm. The patriarch of the Heavenly Fire cult has broken through? This is too shocking. Doesn't that mean that the Heavenly Fire cult can be promoted to a peak race, even if it's the weakest? This is the first time someone from a high-ranking race has broken through. Back in the 9 Essences universe, this would be unimaginable. An expert has actually broken through. This is too terrifying. There were countless comments below this piece of news. An expert from a high-ranking race had actually broken through. What kind of great opportunity did he obtain? Secondly, in the past, since the end of the cultivation calamity, over 20 billion years in the 9 Essences universe, no expert from a high-ranking race had broken through to the sovereign realm, except for the current peak races. However, in less than 1,000 years in the Starry Sky universe, an expert had actually broken through. This was definitely something that would shock everyone. At the same time, the experts and disciples of the high-ranking races were even more excited. Although the Starry Sky universe was more dangerous, there were tens of thousands of times more opportunities than in the 9 Essences universe. If one was lucky here, he could really soar to the sky. Heavenly Fire Ancestor was an example. In addition to the news about Heavenly Fire Ancestor, a large number of experts and disciples also announced that many fire element experts had broken through crazily in the Fire Heart Treasure Land. Wang Xian was also shocked when he saw this piece of news. An expert has broken through so quickly. Wang Xian murmured, and his eyes were shining. He checked the location of the Fire Heart Treasure Land, and his face revealed a hesitant look. Buzz, buzz. At this moment, waves of dark and light energy came from the side. Wang Xian looked over and a smile appeared on his face. The Tai Chi dragon plate had broken through. Now, both the 5 elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon plate had the power of a third-order sovereign. With these 2 treasures, Wang Xian would be able to escape from the attack of a giant space beast at the Dominator level. If the 5 elements grindstone wants to break through, It will probably take a few thousand years at this rate of harvest. Wang Xian murmured as he looked at the 5 elements grindstone. He took out the universe artificial intelligence and contacted Wu Sha and the others. Wu Sha and the others had already entered the starry sky universe, and each of them had some harvest. After asking around, he called Wu Sha, who was currently researching something, over. His figure flashed as he flew outside and laid down a demon spirit altar. Dragon King. Soon, Enlai brought Wu Sha over, and she greeted him respectfully. Follow me. Wang Xian nodded his head at her and led her forward. Lin Wenluo. When he arrived at the previous position, he shouted in Lin Wenluo's direction. Dragon King, what can I do for you? Soon, Lin Wenluo walked out and asked respectfully. I'll leave this place and Wu Sha will guard this place for me. If you have any problems, tell Wu Sha. Wang Xian said to Lin Wenluo. One of the 9 great scientists of the technological world, Luo? Wu Sha looked at Lin Wenluo and gave him a slap in the face. A sovereign expert? A sovereign expert? Dragon King, your dragon palace has a sovereign expert? Lin Wenluo looked at Wu Sha and assessed her strength. Soon he was shocked and exclaimed. Hee, if there's anything, just tell Wu Sha. Wu Sha, you should pay attention here too. Wang Xian said to them. Yes, Dragon King. Wu Sha nodded. But Wang Xian responded. With a swift move, he flew out. He was going to the Fire Heart Treasure Land. I didn't expect the Dragon Palace to have a sovereign expert. Lin Wenluo watched Wang Xian leave and looked at Wu Sha with a sigh. Hee, there are many things you didn't expect. The technological world is interesting. Although it is different from the sorcerer lineage, it is still pursuing the truth. Wu Sha looked at him and said plainly. Chapter 37-36. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Wang Xian flew quickly in the starry universe, heading for the Fire Heart Treasure Ground. There were many cultivation treasures in the universe, especially some of them. Cultivating in them was like sitting on a rocket. A universe would always give birth to extremely powerful treasures. The 9-source universe was already occupied by the pinnacle races. Why did the pinnacle races have so many sovereigns? One of the reasons was because of these treasures. Those were the truly terrifying grotto heavens and blessedness. It was a pity that such grotto heavens and blessedness were not accessible to other experts. Moreover, the energy in such grotto heavens and blessedness was limited. For example, a fixed amount of energy could only be accumulated for a certain period of time. As the number of disciples from the pinnacle races increased, their grotto heavens and blessedness were not enough for them to use. This Fire Heart Treasure Ground was obviously comparable to the grotto heavens and blessedness occupied by the pinnacle races. Perhaps it was because some giant space beasts were not of the fire attribute, and the number of giant space beasts was much lower than the number of living beings in the 9-source universe. It's a little far. I didn't expect the experts and disciples of the 9-source universe to have explored so deeply in less than 1,000 years. Wang Xian murmured as he looked at the distance. The deeper he went, the more gaps there were. Although there were giant space beasts at the sovereign level occupying a territory, the experts of the various races of the 9 Essences universe could still use all sorts of methods to find their own paths. Wang Xian flew quickly according to the route on the communication stone plate. We're almost there. Time passed. 10 years later, Wang Xian suddenly realized that the number of experts and disciples around him had increased. There were even many experts and disciples from the pinnacle races. The thing made by Lin Wenluo can be used. Wang Xian's eyes flickered slightly. For the time being, he did not want others to know his identity. This was also to prevent experts from the angel race and phoenix race from hunting him down. He waved his arm and put on the shape-shifting animal skin. His aura was completely concealed. Flames bloomed on Wang Xian's body. At this moment, he was completely a flame cultivator. Because of the uniqueness of this animal skin, even if he fought, no one would discover that he was the Dragon King of Dragon Palace. With this thought in mind, Wang Xian slowed down and flew forward. As he got closer, Wang Xian realized that there were more and more experts and disciples around him. After flying for another day, he saw at least 1,000,000 experts and disciples gathered in front of him. In front of the group of powerful disciples was an incomparably huge and strange domain. In front of them, there were many suns, which could also be called fiery planets. In the center of more than 100 fiery planets, there was a humongous meteorite the size of a basin. The sky above the meteorite was emitting strands of red light. Looking from the sky, one could see that the center of this meteorite was a pure red flame liquid. The flames turned into liquid and seemed to contain a terrifying amount of energy. On the surrounding fiery planets, one could see many experts and disciples cultivating on them. Wang Xian continued to fly forward with glistening eyes. Patriarch Skyfire made his breakthrough here? The power of fire here is so rich. This is simply a paradise for fire attribute cultivators. Unfortunately, I'm not a fire attribute cultivator. Look over there, over 1,000 fire phoenixes have occupied a fiery star. So many phoenixes are coming. Voices of discussion could be heard from the surroundings. Wang Xian looked over. There were indeed many fire attribute experts around. After all, a patriarch of an advanced race had made a breakthrough. Why didn't any experts go to the fiery liquid in the center? That should be the place with the most energy, right? Wang Xian looked at the few people who were talking and couldn't help but ask. Go to the center? Who would dare to go there? There are 70 to 80 giant space beasts there? Upon hearing Wang Xian, one of the experts replied, Are you new here? The center, known as the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land, is guarded by more than 100 fiery planets. However, it has been occupied by powerful giant space beasts. Not long ago, an expert from the Phoenix clan tried to enter and was swallowed by a giant space beast. You didn't see it. The other experts from the Phoenix clan didn't dare to rescue him. They were afraid of angering the other giant space beasts. As the expert spoke, he turned his gaze towards the center of the crowd. Really? Wang Xian raised his eyebrows. Where did that Patriarch Skyfire make his breakthrough? Patriarch Skyfire obtained a supreme treasure from a fiery planet and made a breakthrough, said the cultivator, his eyes filled with envy and yearning. Ancestor Skyfire was able to make a breakthrough on a fiery star. If he were to enter the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land, wouldn't the speed of his improvement be even more terrifying? Enter the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land? Don't even think about it. Those 70 to 80 giant space beasts are existences above the Dominator level. This is the star universe. Even if an elite race were to come, they would still die. His companion beside him said. Wang Xian nodded his head slightly. After hesitating for a moment, he flew forward. As he approached the fiery planets, Wang Xian instantly sensed a majestic energy coming towards him. The energy was even denser than the Dragon Palace. One should know that the energy in the Dragon Palace was extremely terrifying. This is just getting closer. If I were to be in the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land, wouldn't my cultivation speed increase by tens of thousands of times? Wang Xian mumbled to himself. As he flew to a fiery planet, Wang Xian instantly sensed a wave of heat and energy rushing towards him, cleansing his body. On the fiery planet, he could see many experts occupying a place and starting to cultivate. Fire attribute cultivators can cultivate 100 times faster on this fiery planet than in the Dragon Palace. How terrifying! As he spoke, his eyes looked towards the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land. On a fiery planet closest to the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land, there were several fire phoenixes cultivating on it. The flame energy there should be denser than on Wang Xian's planet. However, the group of phoenixes did not dare to step into the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land. They did not even dare to go to the edge. He hesitated for a moment before approaching it bit by bit. He floated in the void in front of the center and looked down. In the center, there was a huge basin. This basin was the size of a dozen planets. There were 70 to 80 giant space beasts in it. These 70 to 80 giant space beasts did not belong to the same race. Instead, they were divided into several types. Without exception, their bodies contained terrifying flame energy. These giant space beasts did not fight among themselves. Obviously, they have reached an agreement. They belong to at least 7 or 8 races of giant space beasts. Wang Xian looked and wondered if there was a way to enter. Chapter 37:37. If Wang Xian were to cultivate on these fiery planets, he might need millions of years to achieve a breakthrough. A few million years was neither a long time nor a short time. It would take millions of years to advance one level, and tens of millions of years to advance further. It didn't take too long. However, Wang Xian felt that if he could enter the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land, his cultivation speed would increase by at least 10 times. If he needed it every few tens of thousands of years, he wouldn't need to look for resources and treasures at all. He could just cultivate here. Because this place was full of resources and treasures. Let an lie bring me inside? Will they be attacked? Wang Xian was hesitant. If he wanted to enter, it would be very dangerous. Although he wouldn't lose his life, if he wanted to escape, he would have to use a void scroll. This void scroll was a life-saving treasure. He looked down at the giant star beast that was lying on the ground cultivating in the Fire Heart Treasure Land, and an idea suddenly came to his mind. Can I? There are a total of 7 or 8 races of giant astral beasts here. They probably don't know each other very well. After all, giant astral beasts are more like beasts. Wang Xian thought of an idea and felt that he could take the risk. That was, he could transform into a star behemoth with the help of the hide treasure that Lin Wenluo had researched. Wang Xian wasn't sure what the success rate was. With the special nature of the beast's skin, he could become the same as other giant beasts of the starry sky. As long as he didn't fight and didn't release his energy, he wouldn't be sensed by other giant beasts of the same race. Lin Wenluo had already tested it on the Storm Continent. As long as he didn't use energy, it wouldn't be a big problem. I'll give it a try. Soon, Wang Xian made his decision. The temptation of the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land was too great. If he could cultivate inside, he wouldn't need to go out to look for treasures. Cultivating here would be enough. At that time, he would be able to complete his breakthrough after tens of thousands of years of seclusion. This speed was already extremely fast. Having made up his mind, Wang Xian stared at the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land and the figures of the galactic beasts. Most of the 7 or 8 star behemoths had half of their bodies submerged in the flaming liquid, with only their heads or upper bodies exposed. Wang Xian scanned through them one by one and finally fixed his eyes on a galactic beast. It was a giant star beast with flames all over its body and 4 limbs lying on the ground like a toad. The only difference was that there was a bulge on its head that looked like a gourd. There were many giant beasts of this race. There were more than 20 of them, which occupied the majority of the giant beasts of this race. In addition, there were a few small star behemoths among the group of more than 20. They seemed to be young star behemoths. Obviously, this race had a relatively high status among the star behemoths. They occupied a large area, and occasionally the cubs could be seen turning over and moving around. Why don't I transform into a giant star beast? Wang Xian was sizing it up and calculating the possibility of success. There's a good chance that all the adult star behemoths of that species are sleeping with their eyes closed. Most importantly, if I transform into this star behemoth, the other star behemoths won't dare to provoke me. Wang Xian thought to himself as he looked around. There were many experts staring at the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land. There was one not far away from him. Wang Xian moved and came to a more remote place where other experts and disciples would not be able to see him. He touched the animal skin on his body. Collecting simulated target form. Collecting in progress. Wang Xian pressed a button on the animal skin. As a product of technology, this animal skin continued some of the usage methods of the technological world. Collecting successful. You can simulate the shape of the giant star beast and some of its actions. Soon, the mechanical voice sounded again. Simulate. Wang Xian moved his mind and started the simulation immediately. In the next moment, Wang Xian could clearly sense that his body size began to grow and he became a cub of the giant star beast. Without any hesitation, he simulated the movement of the cub of the giant star beast and flew towards the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land. He didn't fly to the area occupied by the giant star beasts. Instead, he flew to a place that was slightly on the edge of the area. There, 3 giant star beasts were lying on the ground, cultivating. Why is there a giant star beast there all of a sudden? What's going on? Where did a giant star beast come from? When Wang Xian flew towards the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land, some experts and disciples who were paying attention to the center were shocked when they saw it. On the planet occupied by the Fire Phoenix, a few Fire Phoenixes also looked over in confusion. However, at this moment, Wang Xian flew quickly towards the fiery liquid in the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land. At this moment, he was a little scared and was ready to escape at any time. When he flew to the center of the Fire Heart Treasure Land, the 3 giant star beasts cultivating inside immediately looked at him. That incomparably huge pupil. The terrifying aura from them made Wang Xian's heart tighten. However, he did not stop and continued to descend into the fiery liquid below. Bam! As he fell into it, waves of majestic flame energy tempered his body and surged into his body. Wang Xian instantly felt as though he was submerged in a powerful ocean of energy. Even if he did not absorb it, endless energy was also surging into his body. This caused his eyes to be filled with pleasant surprise. Swoosh! However, at this moment, the giant star beast, which was only tens of thousands of kilometers away, suddenly moved, making him a little nervous. But to Wang Xian's surprise, the 3 galactic beasts did not make any other moves. Wang Xian quickly controlled his body and immersed it completely in the fiery liquid. As soon as he did, he sensed the terrifying auras of numerous star behemoths in his surroundings. There aren't just 70 or 80 star behemoths in the center of the Flame Heart Paradise. There are at least 100. Wang Xian could sense the silhouette of the giant star beast below. He looked in the direction of the 3 giant star beasts after his body was submerged in it. The 3 galactic giant beasts did not move. It was unknown if they were wary of the galactic giant beasts that Wang Xian had imitated or something else. In short, he had succeeded. Success! At this moment, Wang Xian's eyes were filled with excitement. Feeling the vast power of flame around him, he was thrilled. At most, I'll be able to break through here after cultivating for 10,000 years. A look of excitement appeared on his face. He immediately lay there motionlessly and quietly cultivated. Even though the surrounding star behemoths had noticed his arrival, none of them attacked him. Remember love in 1 second. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.